Say the word Buster in ranching or cutting country, and folks don't have to guess who you're talking about. Buster Welch, born in 1928, is a staple in the cutting, ranching, and horse breeding industries. While Buster is synonymous with world champion and Futurity winning cutting horses, all Buster really ever wanted was to be a rancher. From childhood, he dreamed of owning and running his own cattle ranch. After leaving home at 14, Buster began his first job at the Proctor Ranch in Midland, working for Foy and Leonard Proctor. The ranch needed help because so many young men were fighting in World War II. Buster's job was to start colts and any other ranch chores that had to be done.
I went to work on a ranch when I was 14 for the Proctor brothers, breaking colts, jingling horses, and cutting wood, and doing things that way to relieve a man of that responsibility, because we was all pretty short-handed. But back in those days, we didn't use pickups. Everything was done with wagon and teams and with horses. And we had some good horses. The Proctors were real horsemen. It was pretty isolated back there, but really enjoyed it. They tell the story there that we didn't get much outside news, you know. And they say when World War II started, one of them cowpunchers come in, his horse was leather, and he'd come all the way from town and told them, said, "Boys, we're in a war." Said, "We're in a big fight." And they said, "Well, what happened? What started it?" "Oh," he said, "like all fights start over some woman named Pearl Harbor."
It was at the Proctor Ranch that Buster got his first lesson on riding cutting horses. Buster's ranch resume includes places like the 4-6s, the Long X, and the Pitchfork, where he honed his skills as a horseman. Familiar with cutting contests he saw as a kid, Buster soon was earning money showing cow ponies and gaining a reputation as a good horseman. The first horse that brought him to the attention of many was the gritty Chickasha Mike, who wasn't saddled until he was a 6-year-old, and with Buster aboard, outscored the great Jesse James at the 1951 Santa Rosa Roundup cutting in Vernon, Texas.
Warren Shoemaker caused me getting Chickasha Mike, which actually kicked my career off, and I sure thank him for that.
Other professionals in cutting soon began to notice Buster's talent with cutting horses. Oilman Marion Flint saw the young cowboy compete and sent his mare, Marion's Girl by Silver Wimpy, for Buster to train. In 1954, Welch made Marion's Girl a world champion, and she, in turn, made him a well-known trainer. Buster joined several other competitors to start the National Cutting Horse Association Futurity, a competition for 3-year-old horses that had never been shown. The first event was held in Sweetwater, Texas, 1962. Buster showed his way to the top aboard Money Glow, earning a little more than $3,800 and the prestige of winning the first NCHA Futurity. NCHA was about to be set on its ear as Buster dominated the NCHA Futurity with a record 5 wins, starting with Money Glow, followed by Chickasha Glow in 1963, Ray J's Pete in 1966, Dry Dock in 1971, and Peppy Sand Badger in 1977. Buster's success led him to a position with King Ranch, where he campaigned Mr. San Pepe to NCHA World Championships in 1974 and 1976, and an AQHA World Championship in Senior Cutting in 1976.
I think T.O. put together one of the most successful horse breeding programs there's ever been, and I think the records show it. And it might have been pretty much the highlight of my life, being part of that and winning the Futurity on Little Peppy for the King Ranch.
Buster is a cattleman by heart. His ranching operation is in Rotan, Texas, where he and his wife Shayla returned after working and living in Kingsville for 15 years.
My dad used to say she was my secret weapon. if I could get her to ride my horse and use him a time or two, it seemed like it kind of smoothed them out and give him confidence in himself, and he'd get better.
Buster continued to train horses and to build a small empire of his own. The family holdings eventually grew to include more than 60,000 acres of leased and owned land. Several years ago, they sold their 25,000-acre Double Mountain River Ranch and moved on to the adjacent 18,000-acre Criswell Ranch. Cattle from Welch's B. Lazy W brand are in high demand by other beef producers from all over the United States. He's been marketing calves to Coleman Natural Meats for nearly 2 decades, a decision that coincided perfectly with the public demand for naturally grown foods. Even after suffering a stroke in 1999, Buster still oversees the running of his ranch and remains a familiar figure at cutting events and an active showman. He won the 2011 NCHA Futurity Champions Cup, a battle of returning NCHA Futurity winners held in Fort Worth aboard Bet He's a Cat, owned by fellow cutter Austin Shepard. Based on the crowd's applause during his run, it was obvious Buster Welch is a favorite and legend to cutting horse fans. Buster served the cutting industry well. He served on the NCHA Executive Committee from 1962 to 1963 and as an NCHA director. He also has worked to provide an education for future young ranchers. In 2010, Buster donated his time and expertise to help raise money for the Ashland, Kansas Public School District. He recognized the effect the declining economy had, causing people to move away from rural areas, and he wanted to provide funding for the schools that are suffering from a drop in the number of students. Along with 2 other cutting professionals, Buster put on a clinic for 21 participants, which raised $13,000 to help fund the struggling Ashland public school system. Buster has received several honors for his work in the NCHA, American Quarter Horse, and ranching industries. He's been inducted into both the NCHA Member and Rider Halls of Fame. Buster was also awarded the Charles Goodnight Award, the Foy Proctor Memorial Cowman's Award of Honor, and is a member of the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame. Buster was inducted into the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame in 2004 and is a recipient of AQHA's 40-Year Breeder Award. Above it all, even being the best-known name in cutting and a hero to many, Buster Welch regards himself as a cattleman first. The dreams of a boy have come true for the king of cutting. Congratulations, Buster Welch, this year's Golden Spur Award winner.